Hey, the gang's all here. Well, the gang that's here usually now. We're still missing Taylor, aren't we? You know what? I'm going to close this because it makes a lot of beep beeps. That's my penny boys. We got rid of that. Okay. Make sure we got enough power here. Got a lot of windows open. You people have given me a bunch of stocks to look at. That's what we do here. I share hot penny stocks with you through the week. This gives you a chance to share hot penny stocks with everybody. You've given me a list here. I've gone and done the due diligence for you. Now, of course, we're not doing a deep dive. We don't have that much time. But I am going to skirt over the catalyst, the most current information. We're going to look at the fundamentals. We're going to look at the share structure. And, of course, we're going to look at the charts. So who showed up today? I bet you I can guess. Velmor, Kishera, Underdog, Mark, MBS. Oh, that's right. MBS changed his name. MBS is now Dino Trades. I like that name. That's better than MBS. I always thought of baseball when I saw that. Velmor, yes, hon, I have got your ticker all taken care of. I was confused. Don't you worry about that comment. I'm all good now. Kishera, hello, my friend. Good to have you here. I don't know where you're at, telling us good morning at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But if you're just starting your Thursday, I hope it's a good day for you. Yes, I do have your NWBO, a biotech. Yikes. I didn't realize you gave me a choice. I didn't know there was another comment under there. And I'll be honest, given a choice to look at a biotech or something else, I'm going to look at that something else every time. Every time. I just don't like biotechs for a lot of reasons. But, just doing the due diligence on it, talking about body parts and chemicals and phase trials, boring. So personally, I don't like doing due diligence on them. I will, but I didn't know you gave me a choice. So we're going to look at a biotech. What else we got here? Oh, Dino, you gave me a choice too between a biotech and something else. I took the something else. I know TNXP is a biotech. I do believe she was catching some heat today as well. But we're going to look at the other one that you gave me, KOSK, which I remember from what they used to do, but they ain't doing that no more. It's all changed. Underdog, hello, my friend. I've got your gels up and ready to go. Mark Ryan, you're here in time. I've got your KOPN. Seems to be a lot of attention being paid to that stock right now. Matter of fact, don't fight the field down here. He's got some information on it. We're going to be looking at that stock. That's going to be part of the information that you want to add to your info list. I didn't find that. So I'm glad that people bring information over here because with my quick due diligence, I can easily miss stuff. Let me get that out of the way. See who else is here. JM, SLS. Yeah, buddy, if you got into that and made a gain, good trading. I saw she was slowly climbing and had a big rip this morning pre-market, hitting a high bubble. And then after the bell, she came down underneath where she started, hitting a low bubble. So if you got in and out of that with a gain, good trading there, pal. Anybody else down here? Clove won't be a penny stock next week. Are they uplisting? Or is it just some hot news coming out? Chris, yours is the last stock I've got. NXTT. I did squeeze that in at the last minute. So we're covered there. Hello, Kenny Killebrew. Glad to have you here too. Hi, David. Hawaii. Yeah, well, you got a list of stocks there. Well, we're going to get to NWBO. No, Cooler, Sens, Sybil, AITX. We're not going to look at any of those. We might have time if I get my butt moving. We might have some spare time to look at some other stocks. All right, so let's get this ball rolling. I am glad to have you all here, folks. So the first thing I want to do, besides give you convulsions, is to bring you to this page. Maybe you're interested in this, maybe you're not. But I stumbled across this page and it doesn't leave my computer. It is on 24 hours a day now. This page comes from the BBC, the British Broadcast Company. It's a UK site and it's dedicated to Trump. I love it. I love it. I was interested in keeping up with what Trump is doing. He's doing so much. He's changing the look on everything, the future, the landscape on what we're calling our bodies of water, land we're taking back in the rest of the world, tariffs, big money coming into the nation, lots of things. Well, I want to know. So I was looking for a place to keep up with it, and this site has an actual page that live updates. I never have to update anything. I come here, they've got a summary over here that's been updated, and they have little bulleted pieces of news to let you know up to the minute what is going on. Now, there is some time over here or numbers. I'm not quite sure what they're for. I was trying to correlate them. I can't figure it out, and I'm sure it's something simple. I'm sure one of you will point it out to me. But it goes all the way to zero. To the minute when Trump came into office, as soon as he started doing stuff, every single thing is here. So I'm loving this page. This is over here at www.bbc.com. News, live. Maybe you can just find the Trump page. Go to BBC Trump on Google. I'm sure this page will come up for you. But this is going to keep me in connection. What I'm really concerned with, I know he's changing the world. He's trying to change the world. And I mean, he's getting to everybody's bee's nest right now. And there's a lot of countries that are jumping up, protesting what he says he's going to do. But one of the things I'm looking for is money coming into this country, money going into particular sectors, going into particular businesses. So far, we've got $500 billion going into an AI infrastructure for this country. Some people are quite scared about it, think it's going to dehumanize the nation. Others see it as bringing hundreds of thousands of jobs. Maybe that's true. This is going to be done by three of the biggest companies here in America: SoftBank, ChatGPT, and Orion. They are building Stargate, and they are going to be using this to connect all the AI companies. And then this morning we had Saudi Arabia. They wanted to bring in $800 billion. Trump today said, nah, not enough. Let's round that up to $1 trillion. So we're going to get $1 trillion from them. That's $1.5 trillion worth of investment capital coming into America. So these are the things I'm trying to keep up with. All right, let's dive into the first stock we've got here. Looks like I'm losing my highlights, and I don't mean in my hair. Dang it. Son of a bump. So I've got quick notes over here because, well, I've done a lot of due diligence, not only here, but over at Penny Boys. I've been trading over there all day from bell to bell. You want to trade with me? There's a link down below. It says this is the Penny Boys link. That takes you to Discord. You don't have a Discord account? Don't sweat it. Give them an email, choose a username and password. You've got an account. They'll send you to us. Find free member page on the left. Come on in and start trading. There's lots of people in there, folks, anywhere from 50 to 200 people at a time, trading through the day, bringing in hot stocks. We'd love to see you there. So DXST was brought to us by Velmore. She says that this is a new IPO. It is. It just came on the market yesterday, January 22nd. I got it confused with another company that came on the market yesterday, starting with the D, having an X in it. Very easy for me to do. It was DGNX. Let's see what else we got here. Pre-market run to over. Nope. Is that right? I think that's for the wrong stock. I think I was getting confused there. But maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We'll see here. Super low float. I think it's a Chinese stock, which is why it has a super low float. Wild run this afternoon. No, that was for another stock. It happens, folks. At least I'm catching it now. And all the cursing was because I missed that big run. It was DWTX, I believe it was. I don't know how long ago they came on the market. It wasn't too long ago. I got them confused. And they were at under $3 today and hit almost $30 today. We were playing the hell out of that over there at Penny Boys. It kept getting halted, which caught our attention. So we get in during the halts. We get a price in above the halted price, and we use a trailing stop loss. That's one way. There are others that play it after the halt. They get in a few cents over the halted price. So we've got strategies over there to make money, and a lot of people made a lot of money on that one today. So let's take a look now at ticker DXST, the one that Belmore did request. This is Decent Holdings. This is a Chinese company. Now, let me see here. I want to check real quick. All right, not down there. This is a Chinese company, finished today just under $2.50. That is $2.48. Wow. Big drop today. Almost 40% she fell. $1.58. This is a penny stock on the major exchange, which I like trading compared to the penny stocks on the OTC for a lot of reasons. One of them, there's no fees for trading. You don't pay to buy your shares. You don't pay to sell your shares. It's all free on the major exchange. You get to trade pre-market, aftermarket. Some of the biggest runs I've ever seen happen in those periods of time. I think because they don't have halts during aftermarket periods, at least not for volatility. If there's news or the NASDAQ is going to shut you down for some reason, yeah, there's a halt. But if it's for volatility, that bad boy can run. And I've seen some humongous runs. You don't get any of that with the OTC. There's a lot more money, a lot more volume up on the major exchange, which is what we really need if we want to get into the game. And there's a lot more rules, which is really what you need. I have had more money lost on the OTC because there's less oversight down there. It is decentralized. This is great for blockchain, not so good with brokers. So I like to trade the penny stocks up on the major exchange for those reasons. So what is this company about? Well, they tell us here that Decent Holdings, together with its subsidiaries, provides industrial wastewater treatment services in the People's Republic of China. It also provides ecological river restoration and river ecosystem management services. In addition, the company offers microbial products, including COD decreasing algae removal and ammonia nitrogen decreasing bacteria, as well as river conditioners that are used to enhance water quality, remove pollutants, and treat black odor water. Sounds like a pretty vital company to me, at least for China. So what did I learn about this company? Well, let's see. I've got one page open here because we've got one piece of news. They haven't been on the market very long. They came onto the market yesterday with only 1.2 million shares. That's it. That was everything they've had. Now, I've seen these Chinese stocks come onto the market with 6 million, 5 million shares. Migo was one of them. She went up to $247, came on at $4. She's down, I don't know, $1.72 or something like that now. There was another one that began with an H that came on just a couple weeks before Migo. That bad boy came on at like $6 and it ran over $2,000 in a few days. And it's back to a normal price now. So these Chinese stocks catch a lot of attention with these low floats. This one doesn't look like it's working right now. The public offering started at $4 a share. And we've already read what they do. That's all the information I've got about the company. There's nothing else out there. They just got here. So let's take a look at the relative volume. Nothing to compare it to. There is no relativity. We compare it to yesterday. I don't know what they did yesterday. Today, they did about 11.4 million shares. Taking a look at the share structure, I found this interesting. They just came on the market yesterday with 1.2 million, and this reads 15 million from 2023. I don't know where this information comes from. As far as I know, they've only got 1.2 million shares. Still, taking a look at the financials, is the company making money? Well, they are. Look at this. Big jump, too. Over the last 2 years, putting those 3 zeros behind the numbers here, we're going from 3.5 million to 9.5 million. That's a huge jump. And their profits jumped right along with it. About a 3-time increase there. Taking a look at the quarterlies. Well, those aren't exactly quarterlies. That's 2022, 2023, 2024. I don't know what this is, but I don't see any quarterlies here. I wouldn't expect to see them, actually. Looking at their balance sheet, probably get as much information as we're going to get here. Money in the bank, their cash and cash equivalents. We got just under $1 million. Total assets for the company, about $6 million. Total liabilities, about half of that, 3.2 million. So they do have positive stockholder equity of 2.8 million. So we are holding positive stockholder equity in a company that doesn't seem to have any real revenues. I mean, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Those revenues are a year old, and we haven't seen any quarterly reports. So I really don't know what's going on with the company in that regard. And disclosures. Well, everything here is about the IPO, and most of it is about the shares going on the market. 1.25 million shares. That's all the information we got. So unless you know something else, that's all we got for DXST. So let's dive on over here to my free trading platform, Think or Swim. I have both tickers opened up that came on the market yesterday, just so you can see them. They kind of look alike. Not perfectly. This one started low and is up high. This one started here and is low. They both had jumps pre-market. This one went from $3.60 up to $24. That is DGNX. Wow, folks, you're talking a 700% run there. Then when we come over here to the stock we are looking at, DXST, she was down here at about, let's call it $4, and she jumped pre-market today up to 14. We're not going to sneeze at that. We're looking at about 300% run there. Then it came back down pre-market. Bell hit. She just kept falling, and all day she has basically been falling, hitting a low bubble here of $2.22, and she is just hovering around that low right now underneath all of her MAs. Now, it's hard to tell you what's going to go on here. All I can say is we do look at a lot of stocks over at Penny Boys that just come onto the market, and I'd like to tell you there's some rhyme or reason that goes on. The one thing I do see is most of them rarely climb the first day and keep climbing. A lot of them pop and drop, and then they come down. Sometimes they'll come back the next day. Sometimes it won't be for a bloody week, if they come back at all. There is no rhyme or reason. So I really can't say what to do in these situations except to say watch for volume. Volume is the key ticket. When volume comes in, it normally means you have a lot of people or a lot of money. Either way, it gets the price moving. That brings in volatility. Without the volume, you're not going to have anything. As you can see, volume was real strong in the morning. Make sure your volume can be determined to be buy or sell volume. If you've got a button and you can change your blue volume to red and green, do it, folks. I was trading on blue volume for so long, I didn't know I could change it here at Thinkorswim. I'll never go back to blue. So there you go for DXST, new on the market, took a nice pop, took a big drop, and now she's at a low, hovering, just waiting to see some green volume come in. All of the oscillators are kind of planed out right now, just like the price, but everything's on the negative side of planning out. Everything crossed over, got underneath. We're all on the wrong side of everything, but everything's flat. So we need it to start climbing now. Okay. You guys mind if I jump back here? I only ask because of that crazy stuff. I wish I didn't have to do that. Hello, me. I love talking to myself. Let's see. Yeah, hit that like button for me, folks. It's not like I get any money for it, but it does make me feel good seeing all the thumbs up from you. Yeah, Kashara, hit that likes button. What's going on with TWOH? You know, I don't know. I'm not sure if I even own that stock anymore. I probably do. I got into that stock a long time ago after doing due diligence and research, comparing it to other companies. I decided to get into it, got a nice hold. Darned if she didn't drop and keep dropping after that. I averaged down, but I haven't looked. I think she was into that mini kitchen food delivery thing. You know, they set up these ghost kitchens where they can cook up instant meals and deliver them to all these different areas, which was real hot during COVID. Doesn't seem like anybody does that anymore. So I'm not real sure what's up with TWO. Hello, Penny Stalker. Great to have you stopping by, even if you're here for a minute. It's nice to know you're thinking about me. I appreciate it. Okie dokie. 420, moving into the next stock, pushing all the right buttons. not letting anything stop me. Well, come on now. There we go. All right, technical difficulties. Next stock came to me by Mr. Kushera. This is an OTC stock getting financing. Now, the reason I say that is I consider that a catalyst. The OTC stocks don't have very big market caps right now. And without a large market cap, you are getting a difficult time to get people to finance you. They're doing public offerings trying to get money from us, but they need big money from investors to carry them over, to give them money to expand or do advertising or something like that. So when I see an OTC company getting money, not from us, but from other investors, I consider that a catalyst. And it's really kind of all I seen right here. Now, I don't know how I ended up in it, but I'm part of a chat for NWBO on Facebook. Must have got into it years ago. They're always talking, always hoping. I see they're excited, but nothing ever happens. Today, something happened. So I actually posted a chart over there and said, I bet you guys are feeling good today. It did have a nice pop. Don't know where the chart's at this very, very moment. So NWBO is a biotech, not one of my favorite types of stocks to talk about. Northwest Biotherapeutics. This is a company out of the United States based out of Maryland. She finished today just a little over 31 cents, and she was up over 8.5% today. This is a penny stock on the OTC. She's on the middle tier, the QB. We call this the better tier. It's better than the pinks. The pinks are the ghetto. This would be middle income. Your QX would be the high echelon, your richies. That's where you get the best stocks. But QB is good. You have to have your financials audited here. So we're getting fundamentals. We know where money's going, who's being paid what. We get all of that. They have to start filing filings. You don't get any of that with the pinks. You wonder why anybody would invest in a pink. And a QB also has a minimum price requirement of a penny. If it ever falls under a penny for too long, it can get yanked off the QB and thrown back down to the pink. They do that down here. So we know what the company does. Let's see. Well, we don't know what they do. You know, they're a biotech. The company is a development stage biotechnology company focused on discovering, developing, and commercializing immunotherapy products that generate and enhance immune system responses to treat cancer. The company operates in the United States, the UK, Germany, and Canada, and is incorporated here in Delaware in the United States. So let's see what I dug up. Trying to find information. Oh, I love it when my highlights disappear. Okay, let's see what I can remember here. All right, the company is developing a drug called the DCVax, a personalized immune therapies for solid tumor cancers. Today, they announced that on December 19th, it entered into a $5 million loan. Let's just call it what it is. It's a loan. It's got a lot of conditions attached to it, but they've got money loaned to them. It's not a grant. They got to pay it back. It's got interest, all that stuff. Anything else I see here? No, except that they've got money coming in from a big investor so that they can work on their drugs. I do have one more piece of information here. Doggone, it's sure taking a while to load all this stuff, isn't it? Hello. All right, we've got a filing here. This is the $5 million investment. They gave shares for it, 21 million shares, 21.5 million. Believe me, you're not going to worry about the 500,000. Actually, you're not even going to worry about the whole 21 million, because when you look at the share structure, we've got 1.3 billion outstanding shares. So 21 million, 500,000. It really doesn't matter at this point. I don't know what the insiders own. Hopefully they own something. Hopefully they own a lot. With biotechs, sometimes they don't own a whole heck of a lot because they're not making revenues. And when you're not making revenues, you're always begging from investors, little guys or big guys. So they don't really invest in their own stock. That's the way I see it. So they may have something, subtract that from the outstanding. That would be our float. Worst it could be 1.3 billion shares. It could be considerably less if the insiders own something. Market cap right now, we're at 383 million. What is the relative volume for the company today? Well, she's been doing roughly 3 million shares a day over the last 30 days. Today, she did about 3 times, a little more than that, 9, almost 10 million shares. I got to think it's for the money being brought to them. We've already looked at the share structure. Let's take a look at the financials. Research and development, making money. Well, it isn't from making a product and selling it. I know that much because they're not paying for any manufacturing. They're not paying for any packaging. They're not paying for materials, not paying for employees. So where's this money coming from? Could be royalties, could be consultancy fees. I don't know, but they're not paying for any of it. So they get to keep every single penny. And they've been bringing in a little over $1 million, and they crested almost $2 million in 2023. Quarterlies. Yep, they're bringing in money on a regular basis. And again, it's not costing them anything. So I'm not quite sure what it is. And they're jumping between 3 and 500,000 every 3 months. Balance sheet for the company. They've got money in the bank. They've got about 3 million in the bank. They got about 30 million in assets. Whoa. Yeah, okay. Research and development. I expect a lot of liabilities. We're got 88 million there. We, the stockholders, are holding most of that in stockholder deficit, 80 million. So they're making a little bit of money, but we've got a lot of deficit here. They're not selling a product yet. They're not making their own revenues. Taking a look at the disclosures, I'm sure I looked at it, but let's take another look. This is going to be for shares, the 424B. Yep, that's that one I just shared with you. 8K, is this about the deal, about the 5 million? Obligations under the off-balance sheet. Convertible note, yeah, 50 million. Up to 50 million. So you got 5 million from one, 50 million from another. So they're just rolling in the money right now, and they don't have to come to us for it. Yeah, the little investors are excited right now. All right, so that's everything I see for this company. She doesn't look bad. She's got everything going for her right now. Again, it's a biotech. Personally, I don't invest in biotechs. They just take a long time. It can be anywhere from a year to 8 years before you get a drug on the market. So I don't invest in them. I'll play bounces, but most of the bounces are so short-lived that by the time I see them, they're already coming down. And then it's a long wait before the next bounce because these phase trials take years. So I normally don't play them. Although I did play OTLK, I'm out of that one now because the fervor is dropped. People aren't talking about her anymore. So I could have made more money on it. C'est la vie. I made something. So let's go take a look now at the chart for NWBO. You do remember she was bouncing today. I see you guys are lagging behind me. I got a computer over here and it's really slow. So there we go on the 15-minute chart. You can see she's been climbing for the last 5 days. Looking at the yearly chart, she's been in a downtrend. A whole year ago, we had a high of 65 cents. I don't see any reverse stock splits. Price would be a lot higher if it was. She's been under the 200 all of this time. We hit a 52-week low of 24 cents. We did that at the start of November. At that point, she came up and she's been bouncing off of our 200 haul here. Now, I know a lot of you don't use the 200 haul, but I want you to pay attention to my charts and see how much the price respects it. If you didn't have the 200 haul on your board, all you would see is the price dangling underneath all the other MAs. And you'd say, God, man, get up. Why can't you get up? What's she sitting on? She's sitting on the 200 haul, which is her friend. This 200 has as much strength and power as that 200, but this 200 likes the price because it considers it. It actually takes the price into consideration when you calculate where it's going to be on the chart. And this, when it turns up, has a tendency to help the price to move to and through the 200. And that's what we got going on right now. We had the price underneath the 50. Once it gets on top of the 50 and the 200 haul underneath turns up, and I have mine turn a different color, so I know when it turns up, you normally see the bars get bigger and it start to climb. Ta-da! That's exactly what we got there. She got on top of the 50. Our 200 haul turned blue. That's my color. Bars got big. She started pushing, and bam, once she got fully on top of the 50, she launched all the way up and tagged that 200 before pulling back to 31. Halfway. She is right there right now. This is looking really good. Look at our volume. Volume was pretty steady until that bar. Big jump. All of our oscillators are climbing and very, very hot right now on our yearly chart. 6 month, we've still got that downtrend. Let's just focus in on our bounce right now. We had a big bounce right here. I like to call this a directional intentional spike. All right, you can see it a little better here. What I am looking at is when you have a bar at home, start right from where she's at, go all the way up to the 200. Only the bar does not go through the 200. It stops before the 200. Then it spits out a wick way over the 200. That's step one. I want to see that. Then the very next bar does not ever go down lower than where that bar started. As far as I'm concerned, we have a breakout coming. That was a signal to me to say, watch me, I'm looking for an opportunity to break out. What is the opportunity that the price is looking for? It's looking for a 200 to start to go flat. When we pull this back, you can see she's in a serious downtrend, and right here, right now, she is starting to go flat. Everything lines up. A flat 200, price on top of the 50 on that other chart. Our 200 haul turned up. Everything turning up. She is screaming right now, folks. So the chart was in a great position, and this told me to watch for when the 200 went flat, she was going to make a break, and she did. So this is what I call a directional intentional spike. Full bar up to the 200 with a wick over it. Next bar cannot come lower than where this one started. Put that on your watch list. That stock has a very, very strong chance of breaking out once the 200 goes flat. Let's come on down to our 20-day 1 hour view. Totally flat here. She's hanging around the 200, not showing a lot of enthusiasm, except for that big bar, which we saw on the bigger charts. You don't see it on the smaller charts. Then right here, a couple days ago, she decided to take off. She got on top of the 200, bounced on that a couple times, pushed off, and now she's on the 9-day, folks. The price doesn't get any lighter than that. When you see the price abandon all the other MAs and just get on the 9, you're in for a ride up. This is your helium ride right here. And boom, there goes the launch. News came out, filings came out, money came in, everybody's excited. She had a big push. She is way up here, folks, and our MA is down here, our 9-day MA. That's way too far. From 31 cents to 36 cents, the price is not an eagle. It does not fly. It is a kangaroo. It bounces. Bounces uphill, bounces downhill. We can play any bounce. Doesn't matter if it's going downhill on a trend. If it bounces up in that trend, we can play that bounce. This came back down to home. It just needs the bounce. So it's landed on the 9-day MA, exactly where it should go. So don't go freaking out that it fell that far. It had to. That's just the nature of the beast. Lots of volume in the picture here. Our oscillators had a lot of heat, but yeah, they cooled down when it came back down here, but I'm not going to let any of that panic me. All of our MAs have crossed the 200. All of them are pointing up right now. You can see we are in an uptrend. Everything is looking sweet. Take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. It's pretty much the same picture with a lot more bars, right? You can see where I drew that line, she has used that support before. She bounced on it right there. She's come back down on it here. She has crested underneath the 20. Now, anytime I see a falling price from a high come through the 20, I expect it to come down to the 50. It could be the 200, but just expect the 50. Normally, the 50 and the 200 haul are together when you have a stock climbing, so they're really strong. You've got two of them together, and it breaks through the weak 20 and hits that double dynamic duo there, and that's where it bounces. So I would expect it to come a little bit lower. I wouldn't expect it to just curve around off of this. I would think it would bounce off of that 200 haul myself, right next to the support. 5-day, 5-minute isn't going to look a whole lot different. Boy, look at that. Tell me she is not respecting that. I just tossed it up there in a hurry. Bink. So you can see she is going sideways underneath the 9. You can't climb till you're on top of the 9. So all of our MAs are on top of the price, pushing down like a waterfall. It's tough to get through all of that. She's underneath the 9. She is on top of a support, but I think she's coming down to this 200. I think she's going to hit another MA before she decides to bounce. If she bounces, I don't know how long this sort of catalyst can run, but she is looking good. She is worth watching. If volume comes into the picture, take it. Just remember, buy on a green bar. Don't ever buy on a red bar. Red means it's falling. Why be surprised if the next bar falls after you bought in? It was falling. It's a verb. Okie doke. Let's come on back here. Blind you guys. Blind me. I'm being honest. Mark, look at you, buddy. Ching, ching. I need a little noise maker here. I bet you I could put one up if I look around. I appreciate it, pal. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, Mark there made use of my super stickers and my shout outs and all that. If you want to tip me, maybe one day I lead you to a stock that just puts thousands of dollars in your pocket. You want to leave me a couple bucks? That's okay. You want to leave more? That's even better. But it's totally up to you, folks. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it, pal. What else we got here? All right, you guys are just talking amongst yourselves. Share some hot penny stocks with each other, folks. I am going to dive back in after I get this comment out of the way. My favorite comment of the day so far. Let's dive back in. It is 4:36. I think we're doing okay. Get rid of that one. Matter of fact, let's save some power. I'm just going to eliminate that one. What did I eliminate? No. Folks, I think I just messed up. I did. Oh my God. Let me see. Trying to see if I can recoup what I just threw away. Oh my God. You just seen me have a big fart on the camera. I sure did. All right, folks, what I'm going to have to do, this isn't funny. What I got to do is come back here, see which one it was you gave me. Got notes. Let's just look at my notes. I'll let you see my notes. That's only fair. And I got to press my button. Now look at me. I'm all befuddled. Doggone it. I was trying to save power and I just threw away all of it. So the next stock we're going to look at is KOSK. This came from MBS, who is now calling themselves Dino Trades. The company is not KOSK anymore. Oh, you hate that, don't you? There you go. The company is not called KOSK anymore. They've changed their name to Meta Wells. They have gone into oil production. Basically, they're running on the news from President Trump. Drill, baby, drill. President Trump wants people to start getting oil out of the ground where we know it's at. Screw all this exploration. Quit looking for it and start getting it out of the ground. And that's what this company's doing right now. So let me, look, I got it. Where did that come from? All right, we are back on target. I don't know how we quite got here, but we are here. Man, this is exciting, isn't it, folks? So this is KOSK Medical, Meta Wells Oil. They are based out of New York. She finished today at roughly 25 cents. She was up about 4.5% today. This is a pink on the OTC. Pinks are the riskiest stocks because they just don't have any validated information. You don't know what you know. The only validated information you get with the pink normally are these two green dots, and that's only if you're over here at the OTC markets. Not every site does this. The company has a verified profile and a verified transfer agent. Both are very important, and I'm not quite sure what's all entailed in that. So what is KOSK all about now? Well, they tell us that Meta Wells Oil and Gas is a holdings company founded in the state of Nevada and engaged in two sectors, the energy sector and the sector of technology. The company is set to forge strategic collaborations and develop both business segments to accelerate company growth. So what did I learn about this company? Well, let's see. I'm already diving onto the news here. I wanted to show you their website first. I knew I had that. This is a new website coming soon. So, MetaWells. MetaWells is a Nevada-based company set to become an oil producer focused on the multi-zone development and enhanced oil recovery of extreme shallow, medium gravity oil. The company is currently traded on the OTC markets as KOSK. Now, I couldn't find anything about technology. I did roam around this site seeing what was here. I haven't seen anything about technology yet. I did dive into their most recent financial. I normally go to the very bottom to see if they have what they call subsequential events. This is normally stuff that happened while they were filing or just after they filed that they couldn't squeeze in, and normally it's good stuff. I didn't find any of that. But I did find what they're involved in. They told us about their oil. They also have a subsidiary. Sophos CBD Inc. is a wholly owned subsidiary. You know how many companies own a CBD subsidiary that they just aren't doing anything with? So that's all the information that I found. Let's go take a look at that news. This company, let's see, signs letter of intent to commence merger. I thought, all right, I have gone back here I'm all the way back to May of this last year. MetaWells and Gas enters into a definitive agreement to acquire Global Oil and Gas Recovery Corporation, adding technology that eliminates the flaring and venting of waste methane gas. Having dove into that, here's some technology. This is what they're talking about. MetaWells Oil and Gas in, July, along with Global Oil and Gas Recovery Corp, signs a letter of intent with Techstar Inc. to acquire Shiloh Oil Gas Project in southeast Kansas. Wow, we got a lot of different companies involved in this deal. You may want to dive into that and see what's going on. And then the most current press release, which came out today, drill, baby, drill. The recently announced board of MetaWells Oil and Gas has wasted no time redefining the business direction and jumping on the bandwagon. Had it been Metaverse, maybe they'd be Metaverse company. I'm surprised it's not AI. Henceforth, the company will follow the instructions of President Donald J. Trump to pursue the acquisition and development of domestic U.S. oil and gas resources in known productive basins in proven fields with known reserves. Drill, baby, drill. And I got to figure that a lot of these companies are hoping that there's going to be money thrown their way. That's what I'm thinking. And if they can make themselves look all pretty, put lipstick on the pig, maybe they'll get some of that money. It's just an idea. Who knows? Let's see what the relative volume was around the company today. Well, somebody's looking at her. She had twice as much volume almost, going from just over 500,000 shares daily over the last month to just over 1 million shares today. Share structure for KOSK. We have about 575 million, just over 500 million shares outstanding. The good news is that the insiders own a ton of them, the lion's share. They've got 359 million, which leaves us 216 million. Still a heck of a lot of shares, but at least they have a lot of them. And if they ever did do a reverse stock split, they get hit just like we do. Market cap for the company, we are currently at about 13.5 million. Financials, are they making any money now? We got nothing coming in annually and trying to get to the quarterlies. They're trying to hide. We got nothing coming in quarterly. So we got nothing here. We got $5,000 in the bank. That's it. $579 in assets. Well, what sort of properties are you going to buy with $5,000? And what sort of assets have you already got for less than $500,000? I'd be interested in seeing. Liabilities, 434. So we've got just a wee bit of stockholder equity here, $145,000. So we've got a pretty news press that says, look at me, I'm doing what you want, notice me. That's what we got. Not a whole heck of a lot more going on here. Disclosures, can't imagine there's anything here. Nothing since 2011. And the most recent quarterly report, and we are looking at disclosures, which are just tallies, just information that they want to share. There are no criteria basically on these, except when they put out a yearly disclosure, they have to have a attorney's letter accompany it. Not that he looks at any of the numbers. He's just validating the address, the dates, all that good stuff. Without that, it doesn't count. So everything looks good here in that regards. So let's go take a look now at ticker KOSK. You didn't go in. Come on, try again. I try to avoid the bell. KOSK. We are looking at a 5-minute chart, so let's roll time back to a 1-year chart. Where were we a year ago? Everything is going slow. Look at this. We're wasting time. All right, maybe I can cut all that out. Oh, this is live. I can't cut anything out. Not my lip pops, not my breathing. I take some loud breaths. So, KOSK, we have a 52-week high. Looks like it hit today at 3.2 cents. We got a 52-week low at 0014. That hit back in November. She has been in a downtrend for the entire year. She started over the 200. She was, look at that 200 haul. That's what brought her down. She was on top of the 200 MA, but the 200 haul, which I told you has as much authority, as much strength as the 200 MA, and the price pays heed. It pays attention to the 200 haul. So as that crossed the 200, it came with it. Right here, she took a break trying to get back up onto the 200. Couldn't hold it. Boy, she was fighting, lost it, fell from about, let's call it 1.3 cents down here to 0.002. Huge, gigantic fall, like 800% fall. She's been down here for a long time. She made headway here. She got excited when she crossed over all of those MAs. She just walked over them. The 20, 200 haul, 50, big bar when she got on top of the 50, celebrating, stayed on the 50 for a couple months, dipped down to the 200 haul at 1.4 cents, back up to the 50 and some meandering around here, and we got an atypical breakout setup, do we not? We had the price on top of the 50, the 200 haul underneath, blue, the 200 on top, big bars. Once the price got on top of the 50 with the blue haul, an uprising 200 haul, she blasted off, folks. It is a winning combination. Vroom! She went up, riding her 9-day, pulled back to the 20 with her wick, just the wick. The whole bar is sitting on the 9-day. The wick came down, so I feel safe. She's going back to the 9. Back to the 9, and she is climbing again. Now remember, when the price pulls away this far from the 9-day, it has no choice but to come back down. Now maybe you'll get one more squeeze out of it, but it's going to come back down. So take profits if you're looking for some strong gains. She's looking like she's still going to climb, though. She's got all of her MAs crossing that 200 right now. We just had our golden cross for our 20. Here comes the 50 and the 200. Every time one gets on top of the 200, they're getting into proper place. They all need to be on top of the 200. We want the 9 on the top and the smallest ones underneath that, 20, 50, 200, down, down, down. Oscillators. PPO is strong, percentage price oscillator. Just like our MACD, they are related to each other. MACD uses the full price. PPO, called the percentage price oscillator, uses a percentage of the price. ADX, strong. We have our green trend line up at the top. Whichever one is on the top, that's the trend that is dominant. The yellow line tells you how strong the dominant trend is. If it is up at the top, it's a strong trend. If the yellow line is down here, it's a weak trend. We have a strong uptrend right now. Our RSI is in the overbought. She is hot. She's up there at 76 right now. And that's on the yearly chart, for God's sake. 4-hour chart, we had that downhill to the low bubble and a nice rip up. Everything has already crossed the 200. Look at that, folks. That is a very strong climb. I would expect a pullback, though. We're up there at 3.2 cents. Our 9-day is down there at just over 2 cents. So, yeah, there's a lot of room for a drop. She's already bounced on it once, so she's looking good. Oscillators are still very strong. Her PPO is climbing. MACD is climbing. Lots of green bars, still getting bigger. We were in the overbought. We're pulling back a little bit right now, but our ADX is still in the green here. Everything is still looking strong. Liking it all. Wow. Everything gets confusing when I'm looking at charts. Looking at our 20-day 1 hour, you can see she's right on her 20-day. That's what she was respecting here until she had to fall. She broke everything, did not come down to her 200, back up onto her 20, which she pays a lot of respect to. And off of that 20, she's taken a jump. She hit that high bubble, and where did she come back down to? You could call it the 200. I think I'm going to call it the 20. She pays a lot of mind to that 20-day MA. So I think she's going to hit that 20 and bounce because that's the one she bounces off of. We have no green volume in the picture right now. All of the sell volume is still growing. We need to see that come back in. All of our oscillators are now rolling over and falling. But would you believe, here at the very bottom, our RSI is starting to climb. And the RSI is as close as you can get to the price line. If you turn all these bars into a line, it will look so much like that line. You'll think it's the exact line. They're not, but boy, are they close. So let's come on down now to the very last chart we'll take a look at. 5-day, 15-minute. All right, what do we got here? Low bubble, 1.2 cents. Climb, got on top of our 50. Bounced on that, got on top of the 9. Started her climb on that 9-day. Hit that high, came back to the 9. Right, that's where she's got to come. Rode that 9 and things are rolling over now. We just had a death cross. You don't hear me use that term too often. That's when you see a MA, a light MA, cross a big one down. That's in the wrong position. The 9's supposed to be on top of the 20, not underneath it. Looks like it's turning around, but who knows? Price is still falling. We've got red bars. We've had a wick come through our 50, but the bar is above the 50, so this has a chance of bouncing off of this support right there. And we are at 2 cents right there. Oscillators are all weak, but they're weak flat. They're not weak falling. Everything is trying to warm up right now, except our bloody ADX. Dominant trend. It is pushing up right now. Red line says we have a downtrend on the board because it's up at the top. It's at 100%. There is no more above this. So this is pointing up to 100%. That tells me it's falling. We are at medium strength on that right now at 50. That's what the yellow line says. So there's a very strong likelihood this could break the 50, come on down to 1.5 cents, somewhere around there, wherever that 200 MA is at the time. And again, even though the chart is falling, look at our RSI. Our RSI is climbing. I'm coming down to the small chart. Where is that bounce? It's not on the 5-minute. It's got to be on the 1-minute. Ta-da! There had to be a green bar. If the RSI is going up, there has to be a green bar. There it is, very end of the day, last minute, we had a jump from 2.1 up to 2.5 cents. And look at that. She was in the basement. Our RSI was down there at 20. The floor is 30. So she was digging a hole, getting deep into the ground. Came back up from 20 all the way up to 48. So we did have a burst here. Why we don't see any volume there? I don't know. Maybe there was only 2 shares bought. I don't know. So we don't see the volume changing here, but what we do see, looking at our ADX, it looks like we've got a reversal. That red line is falling fast. The green line is coming up fast. They're about ready to cross each other. We could see a bounce happening right now on KOSK. So this one might be worthy of watching. She's in a position. She is taking a bounce. She's got calls, though I didn't see any big catalyst or just getting attention right now. So these are the sort of stocks, folks, that you don't want to be hanging on to for very long. There's no reason, right? We didn't see any value in the company. Okay, where are we at? We are at 454. Let me just dive into the next company. We'll get back here to my board. Yes. Next one we're going to take a look at is Gels. Gels comes to me by way of Underdog. This IPO'd in October last year, and they kicked it into gear as soon as they got here. Gels is Gelteq Limited, finished today just under $2.90, and she was up just a little over 9% today, up almost 25 cents. This is a hot penny stock on the major exchange, getting that host of benefits we talked about earlier. This is a company based out of Australia. Gelteq specializes in making medicines into gels that you can swallow. You got a picture over here. I always like to find pictures. Picture says 1,000 things. I didn't go through any of the information here, but this is basically it. It's not even a big bottle, like toothpaste. Just rip that open and you got your dosage right there and just squeeze it into your mouth. This is their primary thing, turning medicines into gels. So what sort of information did I gather for this company? Well, I've only got one page here. And it's they came on the market with 5.2 million initial public offering. Let's see if they tell us how many shares that was. Looking for a number. Big number. No number. Just 5.2 million at $4. So it's less than 2 million. 8 million would be 2 million shares. So it's less than 2 million shares. So they came on the market with a very, very low float. They got $5.2 million out of it. They went and got themselves a president immediately. And in November, the company announced 400,000 units were entering into production. Gelteq's largest U.S. customer increases their initial order by 50% to meet the growing market demand. Gelteq receives FDA approval of its suitability petition for new animal drug. Animal drug? Since when does the FDA approve animal drugs? I thought that was something they weren't involved with at all. So they've got that going for them. They're making headway, whatever. They're getting the thumbs up. And then the company appoints Dr. Paul Wynn as Chief Scientific Officer to propel innovative ingestible gel technology. So they've got products, they've got customers, they've got things they're doing. Don't have a whole lot more information. That was all I could find on. So let's see what sort of relative volume we have around this company. Well, the volume dropped by about 50%. The good news is the volume that did come in kicked the price up almost 10% today. 362,000 shares. Outstanding share count? Well, we've got a decent float. We are at about 8 million outstanding. I don't know what the float is. We started off with 1.2 million outstanding. So since they've been on the market, they've brought on, I don't know if it was 1.2. That was that other company. Probably 1.5 million. So they put about 5.5 million more shares on the market, which still is under 10 million. So we've got ourselves an excellent outstanding share count and an excellent float, whatever it is. I have no idea what the insiders own. I always like to know. If they own nothing, that's concerning. Big time. If they own way, way, way too many, you got to watch for pump and dumps. Not that those are a bad thing. Honestly, a pump and dump is great for people like me and you if we're getting into a stock and we're getting out taking gains. Any reason a stock runs is a good reason. We don't care if it's a black catalyst or a pink catalyst. As long as it's running, it's okay by us. And pump and dumps are just that. That's normally when the insiders own so many shares, they put some hot news on the market. And with pinks, that's all you get. That's the only thing you get is hot news, hype, that everybody gets in. What? They've got a car that can charge itself and never run out of energy. And the guy that invented it is the president of the company now. I'm in. boom, 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 boom. That stock starts to run, and all those insiders sell their shares. And that thing comes down, down, down because they're selling a lot of shares. And then the CEO, he can't stick with it because he had a death in the family or the technology was swiped or some reason. So watch how many shares insiders own when you're looking at stocks on the OTC. Actually, with any company, it does tell you something. Taking a look at the financials for the company. They making any money? Here's another company that's not paying anything for the money they're making. So it's either consultation fees, they're just talking to people, they're getting royalties for something that they've done, something like that, licensing fees, because they're not packaging, manufacturing, paying employees. Looking at the quarterly, yeah, they're making a little bit of money. I mean, they got some chump change coming in. We don't know where it's coming from. It's nothing to get excited about, not when you're up on the NASDAQ. Balance sheet for the company. Got a wee bit of money in the bank, $16,000. We got 14 million in assets. Hey, only 4 million in liabilities. There's a bright shining star. We've got positive stockholder equity, we the investors, of about 10 million. So we don't have any revenues coming in, no profits to really talk about, but we do have stockholder equity, so you're not holding a bag with this company if you're in it right now. That's good news. Disclosures. 20Fs, being an Australian company, they are a foreign company. Most foreign companies do not file 10Ks and 10Qs. They file the F filing, the 20F. That is their financial. This is a tough financial to read, folks. I have not figured it out yet. 10Ks and 10Qs are all set up the same way. So if you can figure out how to read one, you know where to look for the information you want in every single one of them. It becomes real easy to do. These 20Fs, God, because they are an international company, there are international laws, and that's all in there, all mixed in, and they set it all up differently, so they can be a real pain to read. Anything else here? 6K can be a material change. They have an investor came in, bought shares at $4 a share, $5.2 million. That's really all we got going on here, folks. So I don't see anything to get excited about. Was there something happening that I missed? If there was, put it in the comments so at least everybody else knows. Don't let me look silly, please. All right, let me grab Gels up here. Let's go take a look at Gels chart. 1,000, 1,000. That was 2-second delay, folks. My God. I wonder if things are that bad when I move. All right, so we got Gels up. That's a 1-minute chart. Lots of lines there. Wonder why I drew the lines. I didn't think I've ever looked at this chart before. Obviously, I have. I draw these horizontal lines, my supports and resistances, when I'm going to trade a stock. This tells me when to get in and when to get out. These lines are places where the stock hits its head and changes directions. I think of them as speed bumps. So I get in over the speed bump. Once you get over it, you hit the gas and start moving again until you're about ready to hit the next one. So I got a bunch of these, including these white ones, which come from a Fibonacci. I can get rid of those right now. We don't need that one. Remove that drawing. All right, we'll keep the rest. So this is a yearly chart for GELS. We have got a 52-week high of $5.50. That was at the beginning of December. We got a 52-week low prior to that, $1.42. That was in November. Once she hit that high, she went into a tailspin, breaking through the 200. Actually, that's not the 200. Is that the 200 or the 20? That's the 20. We don't have a 200. The 50 just came on the board right there. Okay, so there's very little data on this board. It's difficult for traders to trade on it. So you can see some crazy movements because they just don't have enough information. So she ripped here, going from off of the 20. As soon as it came into the picture, the price dove to it. Yay, we got some information. All right. Let's see, we were at $2.20. We're going to push up to $5.50. Then she came back down to the 20, hung around here for a while, started to dip under that. People didn't have any more information. I don't know what to think. Here comes the 50. The price ran right to the 50. We are up there. Now, it took a while. I'm not saying it happened immediately, but she did come back up to the 50, and you can see big bars. Once the 50 was in the picture, things started happening. We're getting volume showing up here. All of our oscillators are starting to climb. Let's come on down to our 6-month, 4-hour. Well, we still got that high and low in the picture, but now they tell me that high isn't $5.50. They say it's $6.43. I don't know why they do that. It doesn't change from 4 hours to 1 hour. It's the same price. Actually, we went from a year down to 4 hours there. So off of that low, she has been falling here until, the last 3 days? She went sideways for about a week. The last 3 days, she has been catching attention. Now, we don't have a 200 haul here, which is what I would normally think was happening. She got on top of the 50. That's her excitement. She is floating on that 9. Not actually. She's pulling away from it. She got a little high. She's pulled back. She's bounced on that. Things are looking good, but we need some more data here, folks. Hopefully the 1 hour has something going on. All right. This is where all of our information comes in. The 1 hour is really the one we need to pay attention to. There wasn't a lot happening back here because there wasn't a lot of data. We hit this low bubble of $1.87, bounced off of that, got on top of the 50. Once the 200 got close, and no, forget the 200 being close. What's underneath that big bar, folks? You're darn tootin'. That is a 200 haul that just turned blue. Right there. She got up on top. She was up here on top of the 50. It turns blue. We have ignition, Houston. We have launch to and through the 200 in a big way. I'm not lying, folks. This is a beautiful setup I look for most of my videos. This is what I look for when I'm talking to you about a hot stock. That's primarily what I'm looking for. I want the price on top of the 50, but under the 200 MA with the 200 haul under it all, turning up, boom, ignition. She got up there on top of that 200. We expect her to come back down, bounce on the 200 a few times, and then start to carry on. She's carrying on here. She's getting a little volatile. She bounced off of the 200, which is actually falling here. This is pretty amazing. She is breaking out on a falling 200. This is rare. This is like 1 in 100. I don't see this very often. We have crossovers on a falling 200. Right now, after market, it is going flat. Finally, so I would anticipate that Gels is actually going to get a stronger push now. The 200 is flat, which is when you have your breakout. She started early and she had a lot of push. Look at that bar. She went from $2.10 to $3.35. Boom, pre-market. Told you, there is no volatility halts pre-market. Right now, she is floating on that 9. She is pushing a little bit away from it, but not bad. Why is that 20 hooking? That 20's got a very strong hook there. Our 50 is crossing the 200. 200 haul is coming right behind it. All looking good. Our oscillators, our MACD is pushing up. We got a nice climb on that. Our ADX, we have a uptrend that has a lot of strength. But the uptrend here isn't where it belongs. We want to see that up here at the top. It looks like it's turning right now. Our MACD is pushing up and climbing just like our PPO, and our RSI is trying to get up to that overbought. We're at 65 right now, looking really good. I'm liking that 1 hour chart. 5-day, 15-minute for Gels. It's an uptrend. We've got a low bubble of $1.89, and she ripped right there to $1.35. Came back down to the 20. Hard, right? But look, solid bar above the 9. The wick came down to the 20. As long as the solid bar stays on its home, its MA, the wick can do whatever it wants. As a matter of fact, another trick of the trade here, when that wick comes down, if the bar stays above on its MA, the more other MAs that wick cuts through, If that MA went through the 20, went through the 50, and went through the 200, that would be considered a pillar in my book. That tells me I'm building a skyscraper. This thing is going to rocket. So I look for big wicks to go through multiple MAs as long as the solid bar stays on or above the MA it's on. So this was a very good sign to me. These are good signs. These are all good signs because they're hanging on. Yes, this one was a little scary. I'll give you credit there, that one. But she's still on the 9. That's the trick. And she actually broke the 20 and went there. So that is a second level of dirt. That little spike right there told me she was going to climb. So I look for wicks to go through MAs as long as the bar stays on its primary MA. So right now we have got an uptrend. She's getting back up on top of the 200 haul, back up on top of the 9-day. All of our MAs are getting up, climbing. Everything looks good. All of our oscillators are in a climb position. I'm liking gels. I didn't see a whole lot of catalysts for gels, but she's got technicals. She's got attention. We need some more volume. We had a big burst of volume. Get this going, and it's been holding. That momentum has been carrying now for over 2 days, but we've got very little volume. We need some volume to come into the picture. Drop a news press right now or a filing of good news. This thing is in perfect position to launch. Where are we at? 511. I want to say hi before I dive into another stock. What do we got going on over here? I'm going to start from the bottom and work up because I never know what's going on there. Trump has signed more executive orders. That was something about AI. Yeah. Trump, I think he wants to break the record. I think he wants to sign more executive orders than any other president in history. He wants to do more than any other president. He's already on his way, renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. That's already going through the people here in the United States who have charge of that. They're not sure they can do it. And the globe companies, they're all worried. They're worried it'll take them a year to catch up and change all the globes. Getting the Panama Canal back, yeah, they're ready to argue about that, the country. They said, bull pucky, this was no gift. You ain't getting it back. So we got a lot of changes going on, not just with the economy. So I am expecting a lot of things to happen in the market. The market will be key for most of his changes. Alan Games. You're the man that started talking about changes. That's what I was reading. Guilty Gunner. I'm glad to see all of you folks here. We have Leonard Armstrong. Great to have you folks. Better late to the show than not to be at the show at all. And in case you don't know it, it's recorded so you can watch it later. All right, let me get back to my tickers, folks. Remembering to tick all the right boxes here so you can see everything that's going on. We are jumping into a stock here that has had a lot of attention today. People are talking about this all over the internet. We were talking about it at Penny Boys. Some people were, I think they were trading it today at Penny Boys. I see conversation on it right here. Our viewers have been talking about KOPN. This is KOPN Core. We are coping with it best we can. Ticker KOPN. This is a U.S. company based out of Maryland as well. Finished today at $1.86. She is up at 26.5% right now. This is a hot penny stock on the NASDAQ. So what is KOPN about? Well, when you can't get a description, either go to a news press or go to a picture. I went to their website. What this company does is they work with visual solutions. They create meters and gauges, and I don't mean mechanical. I mean electronic. I mean digital. I mean virtual reality, augmented reality, holographic, that sort of stuff. They equip it into equipment, whether it be your helmet shield, your glasses, your microscope. They do microscopic stuff. They do all sorts of stuff, and they don't just have hot technology. They use this technology to create what your business needs. So they will tailor make whatever it is that you're looking for. Lots of information over here if you're interested in this. I'm not going to dive into any of that right now. Taking a look at the news for the company. I just lost my highlights, you stinky little bugger, you. company regains compliance. They did that just back in December. That's good. That was with the minimum bid price. So they got it over $1. Yep, we're still over $1. Coherent receives additional $2 million follow-on micro display order in support of rotary and fixed-wing pilot helmet-mounted displays. We were seeing that. They actually have it in that glass panel. All the equipment is right there in that panel for them. All right. Coherent and Wilcox to demonstrate day and nighttime readable visual augmentation solutions for warfighters at SHOT Show 2025 and First Public Reveal. First Public Reveal. Sounds like a great piece of equipment. Coherent to showcase newly advanced near-to-eye micro displays and application-specific optical solutions at AR, VR, MR 2025. And Coherent Corporation upgrading on improved financial condition and outlook. So it sounds like they've got some great technology here, folks. And this is where everything is going. We want to see the information where we're at. We don't want to go to the information in a book, on a computer screen. We want it where we're at. They are putting it into surgeons' equipment so that they can actually be looking at a surgery and be getting the information while they're looking at their patients. This is great, folks. You know, I wish they'd find some way to overlap information while I was trading. I know they're doing the best they can, but I bet it can be better. So what was the relative volume around Coherent today with all the buzz I saw? Whoa! Yeah, right? That's what I'm talking about. We jumped from about 2 million shares a day over the last 30 days to over 82 million shares today. Coherent is killing it. Where was the catalyst exactly? Security details, meaning the share structure, average, got about 160 million. I don't know what the insiders own, so I don't know what the float might be. I just know it isn't going to be more than the outstanding share count. Won't be more than 168 million, and could be less, considering how many shares the insiders own. Market cap, we're at 233 million. Financials for Coherent, they're making steady revenues. They're doing between 40 and 47 million every year over the last 4 years, and doing between 14 and 20 million in profit every year, hanging out in the black. Quarterlies, it's looking good. They've had some ups and downs here, going from like 9 million to 14 million, and the profits jumping around as well. But right now, we're on a real strong note. The last quarterly report, September, we've got another one that should be out any time now. They were at 13.3 million, and they got to keep 5 million of that. That's pretty strong for them. Balance sheet for the company, we've got about 16 million in the bank, 70 million in assets. Liabilities is at 47, 48 million. So we're holding positive stockholder equity of 22 million, 23 million. So we've got equity, we've got revenues, we've got profit. Fundamentals look really good on Coherent. Disclosures for the company. I had some notes here. Kicking it into gear. That's all I had to say. Yeah, they've got all those deals they were making. All right, let's see here. Right, the first set here, January 7. I do believe these are all stock incentive rewards. When you come into Form 4s, I only come in here to see if the insiders have bought or sold shares. That to me is an indicator. That's a signal. If they've gotten them or lost them in any other way, I really don't care, but you got to jump in to see. And as soon as you jump in, all you got to do is look right there in the middle at that code. If it's an S, it's a sale. If it's a P, it's a purchase. If you don't see a number next to it, there's no special reason they sold them. A lot of times it could be a sale for tax purposes. That's what the other Form 4s are in December. Now I won't have to show you. They had to pay taxes, and they pay their taxes by selling some shares. This here is a equity incentive. These are milestone awards. So they are acquiring shares, but they didn't buy any of these shares. And that's what all the ones in January are. And all the ones in December were the tax payments. So we didn't have any buys or sales there. So we've got no recent filings to consider here. And as I said, looking at the news, I would have to say this would be the catalyst, right? That's the most recent news that came out 2 days ago. We need to dive into that to get more information. I just don't have the time. So near to eye micro displays, which is probably huge business, folks. So let us take a look now at KOPN. Have we looked at, why does it feel like I've looked at KOPN? Oh, I look at way too many stocks in a day. Way too many. Problem is that I don't ever have to explain myself to myself. So going back a year now for KOPN, lots of lines here, but we're way below. We're just getting back into where we were looking. Oh, look at that. We had a double top here at our high bubble. This is our 52-week high at $2.82 back in February. After we hit that, we came down, bounced up, double top. Double top is an M, right? You see a big M there? M for murder. At the end of the M, you normally see a fall. Not that big normally, but you do normally see a fall. That was a huge one. It was at 282. It fell all the way down here. Well, its very, very bottom was 64 cents, but it leveled off at around 80 cents here. Our 52-week low finally settled in at 56 cents, which she bounced off of pretty bloody quick. She came underneath that 200 haul, bounced up on top of it, hung around it for a while, crushed it right there, right? She pushed through it, came back up, pushed through it, came back up, big bars on the 50, 200 is blue, 200 MA on top falling. We're back to the same breakout pattern, folks. Once she got on top of the 50, the bars got big and she started to ride the roller coaster, the elevator, the escalator up. She is on that 9-day all the way to and through the 200. I know I'm being redundant, folks, but this is my favorite breakout right there. When the price is over top of a rising 200, breaking the 50, being on top of the 50 with the 200 MA falling, you get a run from here to there, over and over and over again. I'm telling you. Once she breaks, she normally comes back down and bounces around. But again, look at this. God, this is like deja vu. She's falling. We've got a breakout over a falling MA. That is just wild to me, folks. I look at thousands and thousands of charts every single day, folks. I am not lying. I look at hundreds of thousands of charts a month. I do. This is not what I see. Normally it has to go flat. And what do we have right now? Flat. What's happened when this 200 went flat? Not the haul, this one. Boom, boom. Let me tell you, folks, the price respects a flat 200, big time. So we've got a flat 200 and every other MA is starting to rise. She has pushed herself way up there. She has come back down. Have we covered this before? I'm looking to see if anybody's saying, John, you're doing this a second time. No? Okay. God, this feels awfully strange. So let's come on down to our 6 month. This is really strange. I feel like I'm in a deja vu here. I can't escape. So she broke the 200 there, folks. Again, just look. You can see that once that 200 haul turned blue, she jumped. She got up here, bounced, took a flying leap, came down to her 20, flying on the 9, riding high and strong. She came down when she broke this 200. She got very weak. She started to fall. She came underneath her 50, tried to get up. Once this 200 got negative, so did the price. Price started to fall, broke through this 200. Now we've got to wait for all of these MAs to get back up under the price before the price is going to start climbing, folks. That's just the rules of the game. Unless you're the spy will break that rule every bloody day. But this is what you ebb and flow is right here. Ebb and flow. You break out, you rise. When things start to roll, you fall. Then you got to wait for them to come under you. Once they come under you, you start climbing again. Now we are in a roll, aren't we? Everything is rolling over. You can see we're getting crosses. Things are falling. So we're in the ebb and the flow to come down. All of our oscillators are falling down. Take a look at our 20-day 1 hour. We're on an uptrend. We had that drop to a low bubble, got back up on top of our 200 haul. Once the 200 haul turned blue, she jumped, got up on top of her 50, jumped again. Wow, big jump from $1.25 to 220. This is all happening after market. Most of that climb was after market. The very first bar there is the first bar pre-market. So she did jump very first thing. Then she came back down. But where did she fall? She just fell down to this strong support or the 9-day. She's on her 9-day MA. The support is keeping her from falling any further. However, all of our long charts says she is in a downtrend right now. So she could easily fall down to that 20. The 20 is pretty thin. She could break the 20 and fall down to that dynamic duo, the 50 and the 200 haul, which normally hold stocks, and that's where they normally bounce. Oscillators are all showing a tendency of weakness right now. Everything is still falling down. Looking at our 5-day, 15-minute, she was just hanging around the 200. Nothing going on. Here we took a crouch. I talk about this a lot. When you see a stock doing nothing, and then it takes a big drop for no reason, you can't see any reason, watch for a bounce. Normally they will come back to where it was and more. So you could watch for the bounce to come back to where it was, and that would be your entry point, and you could ride it for more. Now, I don't say she's going to continue climbing, but you normally get more bounce out of that crouch and pounce position. This one worked great. She crouched, she pounced, she came down on top of that 9-day MA, rolled that sideways, got on top of the 50, fell down here to the 200, and that's when she launched, folks. Tough to guess when things are going to bounce, but normally it's when they're just touching another MA from one MA to the other. They touch it and then launch like a cat crouching and pouncing. So we went from that $1.25 to 220, falling back, and she's going sideways right now. This 200 haul is reaching its pinnacle. It's right at the top. It's cusp. It's about ready to roll over. So I'd be watching for a pullback right now. I don't say that she's going to crash, but I don't think she's going to climb from this position. Our 50 is already rolled over. Our 20 is already rolled over. So yeah, I think she's going to come back down. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean she's coming all the way down to here. Every single MA on every single chart count. So she may just come down to this one on the 30-minute. That one's going to be a little bit higher. We go back to our hourly chart, we may see that she stays on the 9-day. So you've got to read each chart. If she comes underneath on that 5-minute, looks like she's going to hell, going all the way down to the 200, go back to the 15, go back to the 30-minute. See if you can find a support that she's probably going to bounce off of. All right, KOPN, I say she's going to take a dip. If she's going to continue on, she's taking a dip first. What time is it? 5:27. Have I got any stocks left I was supposed to cover? I do. I got one more, folks. I'm going to dive into this simply because I said I would, and I've already got it covered. So we're going to take a look at ticker NXTT. I am not familiar with this company. This came to me by way of Mark Ryan, who trades over at Penny Boys most days. He started watching my videos, adopted what I do, took on scalping as his style of trading, and oh my God, he is good, folks. This guy will get anywhere from 8 to 20 trades in a day. And most of them will be wins. And he doesn't even know how much money he made until the end of the day. He doesn't count it. He just knows if he's winning, he's making money. So he just finds hot plays based on the information I share with you, and he does this. Well, he's brought in a ticker. Oh, that is KOPN. Thank you, Mark. I am befuddled. Optical Solutions, huge volume, Form 4s. Yeah, see, I had all these things. And Don't Fight gave us a little more insight. Oh, my God. All right. Chris Vaughn, not the actor. It could be the actor. What do I know? Chris Vaughn has brought us NXTT. This is a Chinese cloud company. I noticed that their share structure is wrong listed here. I did go out and find the right one. I think it's like 6.4 million, which is their last number, but it's really old. This is a Chinese cloud company, but they have 10 Ks. They have 10 Qs. Normally, a Chinese company's got 20 Fs. Big time. They don't. But their financials are a mess right now. So let's dive into this. NXTT, Next Technology Holdings Company, finished today at $3.04. She was up almost 9% today, jumping a quarter. This is a penny stock on the NASDAQ. They call themselves We Trade Group. So I guess Next Technology is not who they are. We Trade Group Inc. is the world's first technical service provider of cloud intelligence systems for micro businesses. It is the first internationalized system in the global micro business cloud intelligence field. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but I'm thinking of China giving a micro intelligence cloud business to the world. Oh, sure, we'll just jump into your cloud, put all of our important information in there. We'll just give it all to you, China Cloud. Really? Maybe for China, Singapore, North Korea, Russia, but no. The rest of the world, I don't think anybody wants to use a Chinese cloud. Just saying. That's just my opinion. We Trade Group independently developed the cloud intelligence system for micro businesses, abbreviated Y-Cloud. So what did I learn here about Y-Cloud? Okay, as long as my pages come up, I'll be able to share it with you. What the hell are you doing up? Oh, what a mess. Let me push all these pages so they can at least come up while we're here. All right. First thing I wanted you to notice was they don't have any news. I looked, they didn't have any news over there at the OTC, so I jumped over here to my favorite news site, Stock Titan. They also have a momentum scanner all day long. The most recent piece of news for NTXX is that the ticker is June of last year. Next Technology Holdings announces receipt of staff determination letters from the NASDAQ. They tell us here that the company's Form 10-K for the year ending December 31st lacked an auditor's opinion and contained unaudited financial statements. Additionally, the company failed to file its Form 10-Q for the period ending March 31st, 2024. Now, that's old news. So why the heck am I bringing it up? Because of this page here, that page there. All of these are about their financials. All of these are about their financials being a mess. No, forget that. Wait, don't take nothing away. Anytime you see a 10QA, it means it's amended. They had to fix something. Right here, they tell us in December of 2024, they fixed the financials for the third quarter of 2024. They fixed the financials for the second quarter of 2024. Then they had to fix them a second time. Then we got a whole bunch of 8Ks here that are saying they're late. Their financials are wrong. They're not right. So yeah, we've got a Chinese company here that doesn't know how to file 10Ks, aren't filling in the blanks, which has always been the problem with Chinese companies. They don't want to tell us all the information that they have. That's just the way they are. And companies could easily fall off the market just because they don't meet the criteria of the major exchange by revealing company information that we get from any other company. They won't give it to us. So all of this is about their financials being a mess. I haven't seen any threats. I haven't seen the NASDAQ say they're going to kick them off or anything like that. But they keep telling them, you got to fix this, you got to fix that. So they just keep giving them more time to fix it. Taking a look at the relative volume, since that's all I've got for this company. Wow. That is a huge jump. I'm not saying that's a ton of shares. It's 1 million shares they did the day, but they were only doing 67,000 shares a day. So you're looking at 1,400% increase in volume. That's a huge jump. Again, folks, if I've missed a catalyst, please post it at least over in the comments. I'll read the comments later and learn, but you'll help everyone else too so that they understand. Share structure for NXTT, low. Now, the reason I didn't trust these, I looked and I said, nope, these can't be right, because the outstanding share count is at 6.9. Restricted shares, this is what the insiders are supposed to own, 1.6. That would leave us the rest. So you subtract 1.6 from 6.9, that should give us 4.3, not less than a million. So I knew something was wrong here. So I went and looked in their most recent financial, and I do believe I found it to be 6.5 million, 6.4, somewhere there. It's just under 7 million, just over 6 million. Market cap for the company, just under 20 million, if that's the right share count. Financials for NXTT, wow, all over the place. First off, they have been jumping from 2.6 million up to 14 million, not in that order, with nothing in 2022. So what I'm thinking here is this was probably Next Technologies. This was a transition period when they were leaving the market and the new company was coming in. And this is the new company. So we got 2.6 million at the end of 2023 with 1.4 million in profits. I didn't expect any quarterly reports. Well, actually, they are there, but it says they're absolutely making nothing for the whole year. It says they've got no money coming in. Cash in the bank, we got about $668,000. Total assets, 79 million. Total liabilities is chump change, 5.3 million. So we have $74 million in this penny stock. Stockholder equity, that's our profit, not the company's profit. So the company does have some revenues, they do have profits, and they've got stockholder equity. Don't see a whole heck of a lot more there, though, do I? See, I just wanted to show you there is no news over here. So that's the only news we have, and the only thing I see is that their financials are in a mess, and they're climbing. I'm thinking I missed something. Do they have a Twitter account? Did they put out a tweet? Now, if I'm doing due diligence myself, folks, I do check these things. If I'm interested in the stock, if I find a hot stock, a breakout chart, if I find an atypical and I want to talk to you about a hot stock, I'm going to find a hot chart first. Then I'm going to run over here to the OTC markets and I'm going to go to their filings and their press releases. And I'm going to look over the last 30 days. I don't care. Hot chart today can run on news 28 days ago if the news still has substance. Maybe they're doing something in 3 weeks. They got a deal closing, something. So I didn't find anything that makes me think this should run, but she is taking gains. So let's go take a look at the chart for NXTT. I'm watching you. You're slow. Strange. All right, let's wind the clock back to a full year. NXTT a year ago. All righty, we've got a high at 666. Hope nobody is religiously paranoid. That was back in April of this year. That is our 52-week high. And we have a 52-week low of 94 cents. We hit that at the beginning of November. Now, between the two bubbles, we had a very big drop here. This happened in that piece of news. This happened just after that last piece of news came out about their financials. Now, there was probably a filing that came out. There was more filings than there was news, and there was lots of filings about their financials being a mess. So something must have been in one of those filings because she dropped from 573 down to $1. And she was down there for 4 months, hitting 94 cents as her 52-week low. Off of it, you can see right there, immediately it turned green. Immediately she started bouncing. Why? Because we found stockholder value, didn't we? She does have revenue, she does have profit, and she had stockholder equity. And that in itself gives the company value. So when she hits a low bubble, you've got shoppers out there that go looking at that information. And if they see it has value, they will immediately jump into it. And you can see a stock will bounce immediately off of a 52-week low bubble if it has value. So if you see a low bubble and immediately you see 2 or 3 green bubbles, chances are you're going to, or bubbles, bars, you're going to see this. You're going to see a couple small ones. Things are popping, drawing an attention. More shoppers coming in, looking at that low bubble, checking out the fundamentals. Ooh, I like this. Oh, look at that, folks. Once you got on top of the 50, the low bubble was the catalyst. That was the catalyst in this case. Got on top of the 50, the bars got huge, jumped all the way to the 200, fell back to the 9, climbed up, broke the 200, back to the 9, meandering around for the breakout. She is in the midst of a breakout all of this time on our long chart. All of our oscillators are slowly climbing, getting stronger and stronger right now, but all of our MAs are climbing. Every single one of them is going straight towards a falling 200. This looks like a breakout about ready to happen right now. Take a look at our 6-month, 4-hour view. That's the 20. Let me get to 6. What a drop. Now, see, I don't know when we started playing this stock. Obviously, maybe here with these big jumps. So I went to get supports and resistances. Now, I probably could have gone back and gotten them in history. But when you have a stock that falls like that, it's very difficult to get supports and resistances. You could lay them on top of the bar you see here. That's kind of close. This Fibonacci is using Fibonacci numbers. I just grab a tool, I grab it here, and I don't have to do any work. All I do is poke the top of the surge or the fall and come down to the bottom and poke that. And that gives you your Fibonacci. And these are supports and resistances that I can trade on. The price is going to respect, but are not attached to any historical price point. They're magic numbers that just attract the price. I'm not making that up, folks. Do some Googling on Fibonacci numbers. See all the magic that is created through Fibonacci that we just can't explain. We have no idea why it happens. We just know it does. So the Fibonacci is a way I like to get supports and resistances when it's just too hard to draw. Now, of course, some of these big gaps, you're going to have ones in the middle. I'm not saying that's the only ones, but they will be predominant ones. So once she hit her low bubble here, she catapulted through that 200, got up on top of this strong support that came from our Fibonacci. She bounced off of that, got up on top of the next one, and that's where she's at right now. Now, what we're looking for is for her to get up to the 50% mark, the halfway point of the fall. When you can get to the halfway point, you're getting into the green zone. Right now, it is working out of the red zone. Anything under the 50% is the fall zone. So it is climbing hard right now, and it's doing a damn good job of it as well. Everything is pushing up in the right direction, including our 200. All of our oscillators are climbing. ADX got our green line at the top. Our yellow line is pushing towards the top. MACD is climbing. RSI is at 60. That is good for us. Volume is coming into the picture now. Compare that to all the days before. Let's take a look at our 20-day 1-hour view. She did go flat there for a while. I mean, she was just hanging around this buffer zone here. She's back into it. But I think with all of the MAs crossing the 200 haul right now, we are in a breakout. When your smaller MAs break the 200, that is a breakout. That's why it's breaking the 200. It's breaking out. We've had some strong bars here showing us excitement, initiative. It wants to climb. So I would be watching NXTT. Not that I see any reason for it to run. I wouldn't stay in this stock for more than one day. Honestly, folks, if you see she gets some volume, you see she's starting to take off, put in your trade ahead of it, let the stock come to you, get above her. Like right now, she's right here, right? So I would be putting in, let me grab my bar. If this stock got volume from where she's at right now, I would have a price to buy about right there. I would have a price to sell right there. And I would have a stop loss about right there. And all three of those orders are going in at the same time. My OCO order, one cancels the other. You hit my target price, stop loss cancels, and vice versa. I put all of these in that bracket order so I don't have to make any decisions during the trade. Volume comes in, volume could stop. So if she walks into my trap, I got her. You're either going to sell at a little bit of a loss. We have a stop loss, so we don't take no big losses. We're not going to hold a bag. If she does what we're hoping, we're going to sell up here automatically, and we're going to take our gains, and we don't care what happens after that. So if you're going to get into NXTT, get in, get out. I don't see any reason to hold this stock. She's got value, but what are they doing? I want a stock that has potential to grow. I don't see any growth potential here right now. By golly, that was the last stock, and you know what? I don't have time to cover any more. I left that comment up. Of course you did. Cryptomaniac. Hey, you the man. I love you guys. I love money, folks. It is the most sincerest way to show appreciation. My best job, it wasn't my best money-making job, but my best job in my life was being a waiter. I used to work at 3-star restaurants or up where they served booze and steaks and lobster. Things were expensive, and I got 18% of the bill minimum. Most people there were in good moods when they left. It would give me 20, 25%, and I was happy to take their money. But I did a lot for them. I made their time with me enjoyable. I hope I did that today. How am I doing it by giving you a darn convulsion? God almighty. Taylor, are you watching, hon? I could use you. I could use a vacation. I appreciate the money, folks. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your comments. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. I've been doing this for over 2 years, and if it wasn't for you, I would have quit. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't keep going on. I think Trump is going to change the market, folks. I think we could see the OTC grow. I think we're going to see more investors coming in. We're going to see a lot more excitement. I think my show is going to grow. I think more people are going to start watching it. Used to be like 24 influencers I was competing against when I started doing this. And everybody was doing a lot better than me. And now I'm like one of the only ones out here. There's not a lot of people talking about penny stocks anymore. So hopefully I've earned my due here and people stick with me when the market gets good. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your time. I'll be back here next week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when the market is shutting down. But you can find me every day over at Penny Boys. I told you, the link's down there. Click it, come on into the Discord group, click the free member page. You'll find me in there. We are scalping. Let us show you what we do. I can't tell you where to get in. I can't tell you where to get out. That's against the law. Nobody at our Penny Boys group is authorized or licensed to be able to do that. But we can show you, we can put up pictures of charts with lines and arrows and all that good stuff. So come on over and have some fun. Learn how to scalp with this, folks. And make some money while you're doing it. We'll see you next week. Dun, 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 dun. Bye.